Welcome to Worldreader in Action, Partners Building a World of Readers. I'm Mir Tavaka Wilkins, literacy advocate and Worldreader team member based in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm delighted to be here with our CEO, Rebecca Chandler Leeke, and our colleague, Maurice Webb. We're live from Nairobi. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Maurice.
Hi, Mirta, Maurice. Good to
How
see
are
you
you?
guys.
This week, we celebrate International Literacy Week. We had International Literacy Day on Monday, but at World Reader, we celebrate it all week. It's a moment to recognize that while nonprofits face shifting landscapes, families everywhere remain resilient. With innovation, partnerships, and technology, World Reader is helping ensure every family has access to the power of books and stories. For those of you new to our Reading Circles platform and format, this is World Reader's way of bringing people together around stories, creating a space to reflect, learn, and connect as a community through the power of reading. So we have a few housekeeping notes as we begin our conversation today. This session is being recorded. It's about an hour long. Please stay muted during the main portion of the program to avoid background noise, and feel free to use the chat to share reflections or encouragement throughout. We love that. At the end, we'll open for Q&A. You'll be able to unmute to ask your questions directly after raising your hand and being called on. We encourage you to keep your cameras on if you're comfortable, as it helps create a sense of community. And let's please all be respectful and concise so that many voices can be heard. Finally, if you experience any technical issues, Kelly Ramsey and Julia Chang are here to help us. Hello. Just send them a private note in the chat. Together, let's make this a meaningful and engaging circle for everyone. For me, the power of reading started early. My sister and I would carry home big bags of books from the library, then play mermaids, imagining an aquatic library under the sea. That sense of wonder is what we wish every child to feel. Today's theme, Partners Building a World of Readers, is about making that joy possible everywhere, because just 10 minutes of daily reading can change a child's life. Check out this short video that we have here that captures the joy and hope that you all have, and that's at the heart of World Reader. And then we'll hear from our CEO, Rebecca.
Hi there. At World Reader, we believe just 10 minutes a day can change a child's future. We know life is busy, especially with little ones. That's why we created BookSmart, which turns your phone into a family hub for reading and play. No extra time, no extra stress, just locally curated stories available in 5 languages, made for real families like yours. It's about using the time you already have before bedtime, during a snack, waiting for the bus, to bond, laugh, and learn with your child. And to make it even more fun, meet Sprouty.
Hello!
Sprouty is our friendly animated librarian who helps families find great books, stay on track with gentle nudges, and build a daily reading habit that sets your children up for lifelong learning. Sprouty, over to you.
Thanks, Rebecca! Okay, let's go! In the new BookSmart, every child and family has their own personalized branch where I'll be waiting with world-class books, learning games, and animated shorts.
It's camp time!
Yay!
Listen, we are in a tent camping halfway up an enormous mountain. Cookie, what do you hear around you?
And by then packaging this content into engaging 10-minute gamified routines, we make it easy for parents to instill habits and a love of reading that will serve their children well for the rest of their lives. At the core of each reading routine is an original book and an animated short reinforcing the book's key takeaways. We close each routine with an age-specific interactive reading game. Okay, way to go! Oh, and I can of course read in multiple languages. Una historia más, por favor. Cookie dice todas las noches. And for just the parents, I have a dashboard full of data. So there you have it. We're working hard on the first batch of reading routines in preparation for our launch later this year. And with that, there's just one last thing for us to say.
Join us and let's get families reading.
Love that. That's exciting. And I love me some Sprouty. He is amazing. Rebecca, let's turn it over.
Thanks, Merida. Good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is such a joy to be able to spend this hour together and to talk about what I'm personally more passionate about, but also you are, because you're spending your precious time with us. For some of you, you may know I was raised and spent my younger years in Dakar, Senegal, West Africa. And needless to say, that has anchored my life and the choices I've made over my decades now. But I've spent most of my life actually working to remove barriers so people can thrive. Early in my career, and this is what brings me to Worldreader, is I worked to prevent trafficking of women and children. And in that process, I saw how education left so many vulnerable because they couldn't read, right? Some of them were tricked into signing papers. They were forced into dangerous situations. And that experience showed me a couple things. It showed that literacy was more than education, that it brought dignity, it brought protection, it brought opportunity. That's actually why I'm so passionate about Worldreader's mission. Just 10 minutes a day of reading can change a child's future. Children who are read to, and I really want to anchor on that phrase, children who are read to daily, hear nearly 300,000 more words, those concepts, the self-awareness that comes from those words before school than those that don't. And we know that that difference will last a lifetime in that child's life. Yet today, if you're a family, families around the world are facing many challenges, right? We have economic uncertainties and pressures. We've got disrupted education systems. Homes, many millions of homes do not have any children's books. But you know, despite all of that, what I actually see is a lot of resilience. Parents making time to read, children learning on shared devices, and partners stepping forward to make sure stories reach every family. And that's why Worldreader exists, to come alongside families, whether they're families in Kenya or South Africa, Peru, Morocco, Libya, you name it. We service families in 100 countries. But not only are we proud to come alongside families anywhere around the world, we're particularly honored to come around families in extremely difficult circumstances. It's through our partnership with Edovo, who you'll hear from Anna shortly, who's working with incarcerated parents, that we can share stories with their children, bridging distances between them, restoring bonds and dignity through the power of reading together. Incredibly transformative. And yet books, right, are the heart of what we do when we read, and representation matters. That's why our partnership with Leah Lowe is so powerful. Their diverse stories help children see themselves reflected in the world around them. It is incredibly important for children to be able to see themselves in the content that they read. I'm particularly honored that on International Literacy Day and through this week, Leah Lowe is offering 50% of every book purchased on their platform to Worldreader. Jill, and on behalf of Leah Lowe, thank you so very much for your partnership with us. Since 2010, we've reached over 22 million readers in 100 countries as Worldreader. And in Kenya, our Get Kenya Reading initiative is working toward a very bold goal. Can we reach 1 million families with BookSmart by 2030? BookSmart is our award-winning flagship application, but it's not just an application at all. It's our doorway to possibility. And today, I'm inviting you to meet families who are proving that they're doing this every day. So join me. We're going to travel right now to Nairobi, Kenya, where this movement is alive and growing.
I have 3 kids. I have a 10-year-old daughter. She reads by herself. At times, she reads to us. I have a 5-year-old son, Liam. I usually read with him. That is, we engage in reading. He reads, I read. He reads mostly with help. in the difficult words to pronounce. Then there is Miles, who is 10 months old. I read to him. Since I knew BookSmart, it has been like, it has just given my family another revolution. We never had time to read because, you see, mostly to get books, it is difficult. And for families that come from the slum, acquiring a book, a storybook to be precise, it's like luxury. So if we have to acquire books for our kids, we will acquire the basic books that are taught in school. And to read with them, it's like, it's just a life outside our boundaries. So thanks to BookSmart, because books are free, I don't have to spend on books. I am able to read to my kids, and reading to them, I can say that it has really changed the bonding. We bond more. I can see that the kids are more free to me right now than before, because we spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time reading, and from reading, it has nurtured another way of expression. The kids are expressing to their mama free, unlike previously, when they would come from school, do their schoolwork, mama is in the kitchen doing her stuff, and we never had that time to sit. When we sat down, it was to sit down and eat. But right now we can sit down and read every day.
What a powerful story. And Margaret, and she affectionately goes by Peggy, is one of hundreds of moms and dads reading on BookSmart with their families in Kenya. Maurice, it is so good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. For those that are listening, I did ask him if I could share this beforehand, but he is the proud father of a beautiful daughter. It's his first. And so you can see the glow on his face. We're very excited for him. And so we say he can live our mission truly right from the very beginning.
Exactly.
Oh. Maurice, I had the pleasure of being in Kenya in February and meeting the team and experiencing your energy and commitment to our mission. A commitment that brings mothers like Peggy forward, to start a new practice in their household. I would love if you could share with our audience a little bit about why we generated and created this Get Kenya Reading Initiative and how it's engaging families.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Indeed, Team Kenya was honored to host you. The memories are still fresh. The
Thank
game
you.
drive. As mentioned, on July 12th, we launched our ambitious Get Kenya Reading Initiative with a goal to reach 1 million families through BookSmart app. And we've already seen thousands of families adopt our daily BookSmart practice. And our goal is to go beyond just downloading the app. So we've created a 365-day calendar. Messages that we push to parents to remind them to do reading. Also, we also have our own original character called Sprouty. Sprouty does the role of sending nudges of joy to our families, just reminding them to read, and our offline games, which are also available.
Very, very exciting. And just to see the growth and testing. And Kenya, for those that are listening, and Maurice knows, has been our testing ground, working with families, allowing them to give us feedback so that we can continue to refine and create value add in that family reading experience. But Maurice, Get Kenya Reading is truly about a collaborative effort, right? It's about bringing both county and corporations together, the power of our board in Kenya. And I think I have the joy of seeing Catherine Namuche on the call today. So welcome, Catherine. She's one of our board members in Kenya. Maurice, can you explain how our board has been influential in helping us kind of cultivate some county engagement? And which county in Kenya are we working with?
Yeah, our board has been very committed towards our mission. They have been helping us achieve and scale the impact of our mission. Now, the board are the anchor between Worldreader and Kilifi County. Kilifi County is one of the coast region counties, the north of Mombasa, with very interesting insights. Kilifi County is one of the counties that has the youngest population, and with that, they are the county with the youngest parents. Insights and data shows some of the parents are as young as 9 years old. So with that, the county has also been facing some early learning literacy challenges. And this aligns with actually what we are doing, promoting literacy. With the effort and strategies led by Cliffy County, in partnership with other stakeholders, they are really promoting literacy. They are working with other partners along the way. So with that, it aligns with us as Worldreader in terms of promoting early reading. Let's hear what Flora Chibule, Her Excellency the Deputy Governor from Kilifi, has to say.
We are going to get our children reading, and not the normal reading that during our days we used to do it. We are talking of the BookSmart, smart ways of ensuring that our children nursery, we call them PP1, PP2. We start that journey with these children even before they join school. Why is this so? We want a connection. We want to bridge up gaps whereby we have this busy mommy, busy daddy going out to look for money to fend for their family. But if they have a moment within a family setup to ensure that they have, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, to read into the lives of their children. And I love the way that this Worldreaders, the BookSmart, has a wide spread of genre, meaning through them we could also tell our story as Kilifi. We put the reading circles about Kilifi and telling our story, and we believe through that so many of these alpha generation right now we are talking about, they are going to be exposed. We want them to read for fun, not just to read because they have an exam to attend to. And if we make this a lifestyle, it's going to make so many of these young generation to be more confident, more courageous. They could get into spaces that we as their parents did not go to these spaces. Because when we're talking of reading, you can also read for the future, because we don't know what the future holds with the AI things and what have you. Maybe we are reading things that one day, people will be in space and they'll have something to talk about it. So I want to thank His Excellency Gideon Maitha Mung'aro that as the key person, he believed in this dream on education and he embraced it. And through Worldreaders, it has enabled us to actually tell our story in Kilifi to ensure that we not only help in bursaries and scholarship, but we also mind in what the children put in their heads. And we are proud that we are a government that we are empowering our children with knowledge, and that is what is very important. So many other things can be taken away from people, but once you put knowledge in somebody, that knowledge stays and people thrive because of that knowledge. And I'm so proud as the DG, as a mother, as a teacher myself, above everything else, that it's coming to fruition. And I believe Kilifi ya leo si ile ya jana. Let's get Kilifi reading. Let's get Kenya reading. Thank you.
I did have the pleasure through introduction from Catherine Muche to meet Deputy Governor Flora, and she's just even more inspiring in person than you've just even heard, but you can see the rich passion she has for her county and for this next generation of readers that she hopes to cultivate and grow the family engagement. Super, super exciting. Maurice, last question before we carry on. What are you most excited about? When you look at Kenya and young parents, and now you are one yourself, tell us, what are you excited about?
Kenya is among the most tech savvy in Africa, and that is the one exciting thing. Being a new parent and a young parent, where we Google everything. For instance, right now, if the child breathes like this, you are like, what happens? So it's such excitement, and the statistically, for instance, in Kenya, where most of population, we have high penetration of smartphones, and that is we are connected, and the data shows that averagely Kenyans spend 4 hours a day on social media. So as Worldreader, we find nowhere else in terms of testing the social impact than just here in Kenya. And therefore, we are trying to change the scroll time into 10 minutes a day reading. And we see the impact that all it has.
Maurice, that's such a great comment. How can we replace 10 minutes of young families' scroll time with 10 minutes of engaging right still on the same phone that they have in their hand? Thank you. Thanks for being part of my team. I'm excited to see how we're moving the engagement and family engagement in Kenya forward. So Mirta, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca and Maurice. And if you haven't seen a picture of the baby yet, oh, so cute, adorable. So let's travel back to my backyard and to Rebecca's backyard too, to Atlanta. And let's meet a family connected to a local partner that we have here called L'Amistad, where Sandra and her 9-year-old daughter, Amy, have discovered the joy of reading together through BookSmart. Sandra has seen Amy grow more fluent, more expressive, and more connected with her family through their daily reading. Let's take a quick look.
¿Cómo podía saber tu mamá que serías bueno en matemáticas? Sí, intervino su hermana pequeña con una sonrisa pícara. Te llamas feo, porque sabían que apestaría. Gritó enfatizando la segunda parte de su nombre. Después se escapó antes de que su abuela pudiera castigarla. Mateo era tan bueno en la materia que su profesor.
Love to see Sandra with her little one reading there. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Kelly. And now we do want to turn our attention. Our mission thrives on partnerships like L'Amistad, because strong partnerships is really what allows us to scale and to move our mission forward. And we are so honored to have with us today Jill Eisenberg of Lee and Low Books and Anna DeLuna of Adovo. Jill is the Vice President of Business Development, Curriculum, and Literacy Strategy at Lee and Low Books, the largest multicultural children's book publisher in the United States. And Chief of Staff at Adovo is Anna. She's a social impact company. Adovo delivers education and communication solutions to justice-impacted individuals and their families. Thank you so much, Anna and Jill, for being with us today. So appreciate you both carving out time to chat about literacy with us and the importance of it. Jill, I want to start with you. Lee and Low has long been a leader in elevating diverse voices in publishing. Why is representation in children's books so important to you? And how has our partnership expanded that mission globally for you all?
Mirta. Looking at Lee and Low Books, answering that question, we go back to our mission and how we got into this work and our focus in children's publishing. Our mission is threefold. We really seek to work and create diverse storylines, contemporary, people-centered stories of kids being kids. Kids are so curious to see how other kids, in their neighborhoods, in their classroom themselves, as well as around the world, are tackling milestones of making friends, adding new family members, changing schools. in addition to looking at the storyline, we really want to seek to really increase the pipeline of who is creating stories. So really diversify the authors and illustrators and creating more of a sustainable career path for creators. And then we really want to diversify the all aspects of the bookmaking process. So looking at the translation, not only the author and the illustrator, but also looking at our copy editors, our salespeople, our marketing of how to really find the audiences and families and the reach to really expand the reach of these books. It is our hope that in increasing access to the highest quality diverse books, seeking out partners like Worldreader is really where you've all come in for us. We can create these books, but really helping find the families that are going to be as excited as we are about seeing these books come to life. Worldreader has really made it such a priority to help, center representation across geography, culture, language, family structure, and more. That's why over this next week, we've been so excited to offer Worldreader the opportunity to really increase their access to not only the books that are featured on BookSmart, we've got 16 titles there that are featured in the BookSmart app, but also at leeandlo.com, that as people want to buy a book there, that 50% of that sale will go back to Worldreader.
Wow, Jill, that is so generous of you and your team. Thank you so much for really showing out in such a big way for the families that we serve for this week. And we will have information at the end of this program on how you can go to Lee and Low and purchase a book where 50% of proceeds comes back to Worldreader to support the families we're serving globally. Anna, I do want to turn my attention to you just for a moment. As mentioned, Adovo is pioneering ways to connect incarcerated parents with their children. Can you share how our partnership is helping families bridge divides and stay connected through stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the United States, jails and prisons were really intentionally built to create a separation between the incarcerated and the community. And as a result, children are inherently disconnected from their incarcerated loved ones. And however, like data shows that connection and communication with loved ones, as well as access to educational programming during incarceration, are critical components of reducing the rate of reincarceration after release, which is what we call the recidivism rate. What's super exciting to us about this partnership between Adovo and Worldreader is that we have this incredible opportunity to positively support both of those levers, both education and connection to loved ones. So how do we do that? At any given time, there are about 1.9 million people incarcerated in the US, and technology has significantly advanced in the last few years, making secure tablets available to the incarcerated population. At this point, we estimate that about 70% of the population has access to a tablet device, putting communication and education services in the hands of individuals, better preparing them for life during and after incarceration. Adovo is one of those services that is available on those tablets. So we make our application freely available to over 1 million incarcerated individuals, which is over 50% of the incarcerated population. Our application delivers life-changing programming ranging from academics to physical wellness to inspirational programming, and we are so excited to bring Worldreader into that fold. What this means is that Worldreader has made select books and stories available on the Adovo platform for the incarcerated individuals that are also available to their loved ones on the outside. And so you've also created these incredible conversation prompts and questions to then guide that connection between the incarcerated and their loved ones. You're fostering the ability to connect while also increasing literacy on both ends. So we started off by piloting a few books, and we've received such positive feedback that we are excited to be able to now expand upon that initial pilot. And I will close from just a quote from what we heard from an individual named Kevin, who's incarcerated in Illinois, who said that this was an awesome way to interact with your children. You can both listen, play, and see the same stories, have plays about the stories and discussions. It's very fun for me and my 6-year-old son.
That's fantastic. Fun for me and my 6-year-old son so that we're keeping that family bond going despite the challenging moments that families may be going through. Thank you so much, Anna. So for both of you, we've talked about representation and access in hard to reach places. Looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of our partnerships like ours that are building world of readers? And Jill, you want to start first?
Yes. Yeah, when I look ahead and thinking about how Lee and Low Books and Worldreader are collaborating and will continue to do so into the future, I really see that, the books that you've all curated, the community that you have curated, it reflects our neighborhoods, our classrooms, our global society. It's really helping children see their full identities and lived experiences truly as assets and not any kind of deficit, really helping parents be as excited, for a lot of times for parents to see stories that they didn't get a chance to have when they were kids. Um, I look at a space like this too, and creating, meeting parents where they are. I loved how talking about, the high adoption rate of, everyone's on a cell phone and really meeting parents and kids where they are, but helping keep it literature based, get kids back to books, creating that conversation through a book-centered discussion.
Yeah. Anna, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you guys were talking about at the beginning, right? It's that bridge and that connection between the parents and the child. It is so hard to think about just this disconnection during incarceration to their loved ones on the outside. It's really hard to stay positive and continue thinking about good things to talk about when you are in such a dark place. And so I get really excited about the opportunity just to create and foster conversation, and we're providing it for them, right? We're not making it one more job or one more thing that they have to solve for or come up with. We are giving them the tools to then connect with their child. And then on the literacy side of the house, we see an average of a fourth grade literacy rate across the board of incarcerated individuals. And so creating books not only for children, I get really excited about those individual adults that are struggling with literacy or to grow in their literacy skills. These are great books for them to start with, not only to connect with their children, but then also for their own personal journey as well.
Yeah, powerful, Anna. Thank you so much for that. Jill and Anna, your stories do remind us that literacy is more than words on the page, right? I mean, it's really about identity, it's about building resilience and building connection in such important ways. Whether it's a child in Nairobi discovering the joy in a story that reflects her world, or a father, as you mentioned, Anna, in Chicago, reconnecting with his son from inside a correctional facility. That power of stories, as Rebecca mentioned earlier, is truly transformative. This is what makes partnerships like these so vital. And together we are building a world of readers. So we thank you both for your presence here today. Now we want to turn our attention to our audience. You've been so patient. You've been listening in to our conversations. You've heard some of our videotape testimonials from the parents and families that we are so honored to serve. We would love to open it up for questions from our audience, and I'll lean in on our moderators, Julia and Kelly, to help me to identify those questions and answer them for you. We have our entire panel that's available. Our CEO is available to answer any questions that you may have. So we're opening it up to you all now. Don't be shy.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Mirta. So if you have questions, please feel free to raise your hand or just drop them in the chat, and then we'll have video questions and then those that are in the chat. Thank you.
All right. And while we're waiting for those questions
We
to
have one from Renee coming in.
fabulous.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me to this platform. This is fantastic, and I am so grateful to the person that connected us. I have a question. Do you have any inroads with the Native American population?
We're all saying who's going to answer that one, right? So maybe I'll just step in. And I may even draw on another colleague of mine that's here. We have done some work through some partners on a couple reservations, but we have not, I would say, effectively curated a rich Native American collection outside of some of the books from Lee and Low, for which we're grateful. They've done a lot of good work on that front. but it's something we'd be willing to explore.
Excellent. Thank you.
Great. Next, we have Jamal from Our Kids Read. So,
Jamal, go.
Can you hear me okay?
yes, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, I've had a couple of offline conversations with Rebecca. I'm brand new to Worldreader. Super impressed with just the scope of your books and the fact that they're translated into so many languages. It's just fantastic. Just wondering if you could give an overview of some of your other partnerships that you have in the US. It seems like it really runs the gamut, but if you could maybe just give a high level of just maybe some of the types of partnerships that you already have in place.
Sure, we have one on the call here with the Florida grade level reading. I think I saw Jen Faber on the line here. She's the great one who has been promoting BookSmart through ambassadors across the state of Florida. Happy to connect you with her to learn more about how we're engaging in that space. We have worked with partners, Jamal, everything from like Habitat for Humanity and some affordable housing communities to Boys and Girls Clubs, to Head Start programs, to laundromats that have engaged with reading clubs. We've had about 75 different partners. We've 75 organizations we've worked with across the United States in some capacity through a whole variety of efforts to improve literacy gains, right? So where organizations can meet families, we have tried to integrate BookSmart into that opportunity.
Okay, and
That's
then
amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for that question, Jamal. And then we have Dwight Frederick.
Thank you so much. Great to hear about what you do. I had a question prompted by yesterday. I heard on the news about I think the National Education Assessment scores were down significantly, especially across reading, but that's the test they give to 12th graders, right? And so wondering, do you see any space to expand into, the higher end of the age range after kids might be a little too old to be reading with their parents, and encouraging reading in that space because that's where it's falling off. And obviously, the education department's receiving less funding, grant funding has been pulled back, and how you see maybe yourselves playing in that space.
Meredith, do you want to take that question?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dwight, for the question. We would be tone deaf if we didn't acknowledge the current challenging environment that we're in as nonprofits writ large, and specifically how it's having an impact in our education community. As an organization, Worldreader has dedicated much of its efforts, its literacy efforts, on our 0 to 5 age group. That's where we're really focused. The philosophy behind that is we know that if we get to kiddos from the get, essentially, that will put them in a really good place to be primed for learning as they enter into a more formal education system. And that reality really is universal in nature in any part of the globe, essentially. We have in the past as an organization really served all ages, and you have seen that and witnessed that with our conversations today with Anna and also with Jill, just those partners. As you can appreciate, for families impacted by incarceration, their children could be 0 to 21, 22, right? So we certainly are committed to the family unit, to the caring, loving adults who are nurturing their children, and where that journey takes them, BookSmart is there. Our proprietary app is available to them as a resource for them to be able to access books that are in 5 different languages. I would be remiss in not saying that we are as accessible as we can be to families globally. But we really are trying to be laser focused on nipping things in the bud from the get-go in the 0 to 5 age range. I'd also love to invite Anna or Jill if they have any insights from your perspectives, just specific to Dwight's question, especially because of the relevancy right at this moment.
Sure, I'll jump in. Yeah, Joy, absolutely. I was looking at, the research that is coming out right now, and it's very similar to, the learning loss that we saw at the beginning of the year when they were sharing fourth, eighth, and 10th grade readers as well. And this is definitely at a moment where when we think about here at Lee and Low in terms of the mission to create books from birth up through, grade 12 into university and beyond, that this isn't just to stop at representation for students to see themselves or to learn about the world or to feel good, but there's real academic stakes. There has been research shown that when if you're really thoughtful about your text selection and you're thinking about diversity in all aspects and all definitions of that for students, that it can increase attendance, it can increase assessment scores, student motivation, improve GPA in high school when we look at adding ethnic studies classes and courses in the higher grades. So you're absolutely right that it is something that we can't just think that, starting that conversation, hoping that it's enough in the early years, but that we should continue to reinforce it into middle school and to high school.
And I think the only thing that I would add is really what I appreciate about what Worldreader is doing as they're trying to think about the systemic, like underlying issues, right? And there's an underlying issue of getting access to books, which is then driving home this reality of like families are not reading together. And so really thinking about the root issues and trying to address those. Similarly, with Adobo, we cared a lot about making sure that we were addressing this root issue of access to education. Historically, we saw that only 1 in 5 incarcerated individuals were given access to educational programming. And yet 97% of people are being released and expected to thrive. And so it's a recipe for failure, frankly. And so we really tried to first address this access gap. And then through partnerships like this or other partnerships, really trying to then address what are those individual issues that we can foster together and help solve for.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Jen with her hand raised.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much. This has been fantastic. I'm just taking a ton of notes and a couple of things I just wanted to ask first. Can we receive that opening video that is the promo of what you have coming in the near future? Because I think that will really energize our audience.
Of course.
So we'd love to receive that video because I think that's going to be a wonderful promotion. And then I also enjoyed seeing a BookSmart sweatshirt, even though we're in Florida, but there was a BookSmart. So you have some swag available. We would love to reward our ambassadors, who are all of the folks that help us on a voluntary basis to promote BookSmart across Florida. So I assume that's available for purchase somewhere.
We can make that happen. I'm nodding yes. I was like, am I unmuted? Yes.
I think they would.
We all love swag.
Yes, well, we're not allowed to pay them,
No.
so would offer to pay them, but we're not allowed. So we can give them a little swag. They would greatly appreciate. And I think the story that you shared about, and one of you mentioned, staying connected through stories for the incarcerated families. But I just think nowadays as well, across the board, I think that BookSmart is a great platform for us to do that with families that live in different places. We're in Florida. A lot of grandparents live down here, but their kids are still up north. So I'm going to steal a few of your catchphrases that you shared today. And I didn't know that we called Sprouty the BookSmart librarian. So we will start calling Sprouty the BookSmart librarian. I think that's great. So thanks again. We have a couple other Florida folks on the call here today, and I know that we're learning so much from this opportunity. Thank you.
We're really grateful for your partnership, Jen. It's making a difference, and especially where Florida's so committed to that early childhood development.
Having a great
space.
time with it. Absolutely. Our pleasure.
All All right. Well, Kelly and Julia, are we pretty good with all of the questions? Have we answered all of the questions that our audience had?
Yes, no more questions have come in the chat, but if there's more questions, feel free to just, okay, I think Renee may have one more. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Sorry to take up your time. I'm just fascinated and I'm so excited to be here and hear everything. This has actually mentally solved a lot of problems in my mind. Someone had mentioned earlier that there's a lot of access to phones in more remote places, for example, Africa. Could you tell me more about that? Because I don't know the availability to technology around the world, and delivering to remote places has been a very big challenge for us because it can be very expensive. And so I guess I was unaware of the, I guess, availability of phones or computers in different areas. I know it's a very general question, but maybe just like a simple answer, just so I'm a little bit more aware of, because again, virtual libraries and virtual delivery is a lot less expensive than importing. So if you could let me know more about that, that would be great.
I think I'll ask Maurice to answer that. If you can just give us and I'm happy to compliment afterwards, but from Kenya.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just in terms of mobile penetration in Kenya, it's over 80%. At least in every homestead, we are talking about more than a single cell phone. And that also comes in terms of internet penetration. Almost in all urban areas, there's either somebody connected through fiber or fiber internet, or there's also very affordable data connections. Safaricom being the leader of mobile data service provision, and Airtel being the second, and so many other service providers. Yeah.
And Renee, I'll just compliment what Maurice said. There is a reason strategically that we have been mobile first, and that is because we did start off with hardware and understanding tablets and in school systems, and we soon recognized that particularly across Africa, South Asia, Latin America, everyone had a phone in their pocket, and nothing is more accessible than that. And your Gen Z today, they're all digital. They're digital natives.
Right.
And how do you reach them, right? That they want to be involved, and so are their children. So we have become completely mobile first.
Thank you so much. That helps. Thank you.
There was one last question I think has a lot of relevancy for us. We'll answer this and then transition. Ricole Johnson from Seattle, Washington. Do you envision AI having a role in the growth and/or access of BookSmart platform? AI is a big North Star for us. Rebecca, would you like to
I was
share?
going to say, you go ahead and answer. I've been talking a lot.
Science into that. And we have our colleague and our tech guru Sergio on the call, and also Sunny. I think I saw him. They're the ones. They're the superstars behind all that. But we can say just really short answer there. Our North Star with our BookSmart app is we are constantly creating and iterating on the app, and AI is a component that we are really focused on for enhancement of the reader experience within the app. So we're working with partnerships, namely AWS is one of our primary partners that's helping us with this. We've already implemented pilots using AI in the recent past. And so that's a space where we're really excited about sharing with this community that's on our call today, and also our broader community, of how we're testing AI to really allow us to become even stickier with our parent audience. So back to this idea of adopting and growing this reading routine and at taking that scrolling time and turning it into real reading time with children with the support of AI is our North Star and something that we're really focused on. Rebecca, is there anything else you wanted to add there?
I think that's great.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we need to wrap up. It's almost time to go. And
It is.
yeah, back to you, Rebecca.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I hope you feel and have seen the resilience, innovation, and partnership that is so transformative. And as we said, building a world of readers. So what's happening in Kenya is happening around the globe. There's no doubt about that. You've heard some anecdotes and stories from that. And families are discovering the joy of reading. You know, the joy of reading through BookSmart, which is free. I think it's just important to reiterate for everyone that it is freely accessible and with culturally relevant content. But our goal is bold. We are looking to reach the next million families with BookSmart, and they're counting on us, right? Families around the world here in the United States are counting on organizations such as Worldreader and partnerships with those that are on this call together. I am personally very grateful that you all have joined. You know, it means a lot to have such a rich conversation, thoughtful questions, and really a demonstration of your commitment to meeting families where they are so that they can thrive and where stories make a difference in their daily lives. Stories are powerful, right? When we open a book, not only does our imagination grow even as adults, but so does children, most importantly. Children start to see themselves in new ways. They start to hunger for learning and discovery, and they become more engaged in our world, and we need them engaged for our future. We need to be fostering that. So at the heart of our mission, the heart is your story. It's my story. It's our global story working together, and it all begins. How does it begin? And you've heard us say it several times today with just 10 minutes a day of reading together. So as I close, I really would like to invite you to take action with us in the following ways. We'd love your support as we enter our end of year fundraising campaign so that we can reach many, many more families. We'd love for you to do some gift giving this week through Lee and Low. Go buy some books for those young children in your lives, for children in your neighborhood, or a local organization that could benefit from some content. You know, recognizing that 50% of every purchase goes to Worldreader this week. Finally, you're here because you've heard of us, you're partnering with us. Please spread the word. We'd love to bring more people into our reading circle discussions, to be able to showcase what we're doing, not only in Kenya, but what we're doing around the world as we grow to try and reach our 1 million family goal. Finally, please download BookSmart. It's super interesting. I'm reading a book every day. You guys can read a book every day. Please download it, share it with your family. I encourage you to read a story, and because we're all about stories, there's a great story called The Story of You. Maybe that may be your first book you want to pick today to read. Share on social media as well. And finally, if you're a partner organization like Our Kids Read, you know, we've begun conversations, or a company that's listening in today and seeking to make an impact in your community, please connect with us. We'd love to partner with you and explore how we can collaborate together. I think I want to just say the simple phrase here at the end. Every step you take helps a parent somewhere around the world be able to sit down and say, let's read together. That is super, super powerful. Those few minutes to sit as a parent and child and just say, let's read together, as you heard Margaret and Wendy say today. So together we are building a world of readers. Thank you. One family, one partnership, one story at a time. Just 10 minutes a day. Thank you for joining, and I wish you all a great rest of your day, wherever you are, whether it's evening, morning, or afternoon. Thanks again.